Shawn, look, thank you so much for speaking with me, especially because we are probably about, 36 hours away as we speak from you guys performing at Chevrolet Indy Fridays, Young Dundas Square. First, I got to ask you straight out, man, how does it feel being part of this summer concert series that is really becoming a staple point in Toronto and has been bringing out huge crowds?
This feels amazing to us, you know. I grew up in Toronto, and I used to record shop in that neighborhood as a kid, Sam the Record Man, Sunrise and whatnot. And I think this is like just an incredible time to be coming to Toronto and playing an outdoor show, especially given the all that's happened in this last year. And it just feels it's a wonderful thing for us to be part of.
Well, look, man, so glad you're part of this. I get to introduce you guys tomorrow as being the MC and host for this event. But it's funny reading up on you guys and everything else too, man. This is really cool because I want to talk a little bit about, for yourself, because your career kind of started, as you said, in that area, in Toronto, of course. I mean, you used to work over at City TV, if I'm correct?
Yes, yeah. That's where I cut my teeth, man, back in the heyday of City TV and Bravo and Much Music. I used to work as a lighting grip and work with, pulling cables and cameras and all that kind of stuff and doing live news. And back when Moses Neimer had his DeLorean, the parked in the parking lot there in the late 90s, one of the coolest things, I had a lot of neat experiences back then, but I remember having to call security and getting Moses Neimer to move his DeLorean for a fucking 23-year-old punk-ass kid to get his news truck in. So, yeah, those are fun days.
It was definitely fun days. And what was it like, though, to be part of that creativity back then? Because not knocking what's going on with Much Music now these days. I mean, times have changed. But, of course, I remember back then, especially going to the Much Music Video Awards back then, it wasn't the big spectacular thing that you see now. It was really a homegrown thing. A lot of the events and a lot of things that they did back then was very homegrown. What was it like for you musically, though, to see those things and be part of seeing something grow like that, and what did it do for your career as a recording artist?
Wow. Well, it was an interesting part because it was a transitory part of my life, and I had just been kicked out of university, and I'd had a high school band, and a university band up until then, and then that was me cutting my teeth in the TV world and seeing anyone from, Smashing Pumpkins, Tribe Called Quest, the Wailers, Jennifer Lopez, Janet Jackson, Blind Melon, all these bands that were peaking around the second or third time round through the belt of the industry. And it was, I think it was probably one of the best tastemakers. I mean, people always look through the past with golden lenses, right? But I think it has been unparalleled in terms of its influence on Canadian music.
I agree with you.
Then. And so I was absolutely enamored, and I was also incredibly intimidated because the level of talent was pretty unreal. So it's kind of what propelled me to leave Toronto and eventually move to Vancouver and start like so many artists and people in entertainment do. They leave their home no matter where they're from, and they reinvent themselves, and that's kind of what I did.
So when you made the move, what were you doing then? Because, again, correct me if I'm wrong, did you go into, or maybe it was your partner that went to doing movie scores or stuff like that?
Yeah, my partner, he does film scores for movies of the week and TV shows and stuff, and him and I met doing the jingle for a business in Vancouver, and it was a Jamaican pizza place, and which was like, I don't know, oddly, it reminded me of Toronto, of all the Jamaican culture I grew up around, and I did a pro bono jingle, and that's how I met Matt, like 2002.
And it's kind of funny because your music has ended up on a lot of TV shows and stuff like that. Where are some of the shows that your music has ended up?
Oh, wow. The Good Wife, NCIS, CSI. We were on Lindsay Borden Takes an Axe, which is probably one of our coolest placements with Christina Ricci. We were on Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck. There's been a lot of stuff over the years, and I kind of forgot. We've never done the big, the Polish beer commercial or car commercial in Europe, but but we've been very fortunate over the years. So some neat places.
Yeah, and absolutely. But look, I mean, those things are great. And it has to do with your sound because I don't know if I should call you a rock band, a blues band, a country band, a alternative band. What do you guys call this? Because it's gritty. It's very gritty. That's the one thing I can say. Very, very gritty.
We were just doing a gig in Bristol for an Americana Fest, Bristol, England, a couple weeks ago, and the sound tech goes, I figured it out. You guys are a disco band, but with Americana and blues harp because of the nature of the beat. Because Matt plays drums with his feet, so it was. And we looked at him. We said, "Well, we're not a disco band, but I guess the beat might be. But we're kind of a swampy, hybrid of sorts. We're not, your mom and dad's Humpty Dumpty blues band, but we're greatly steeped in all of those traditions. But we don't. We're not archivists in that sense. We've been trying to reinterpret elements of the blues, and we're still fairly, we're not a big pop band, so what you see is what you get. When it works, it really works. When it doesn't, well, you try over again.
But how did you guys come up with the name for the band? Because at first I thought it was two different bands. Then I'm going, no, it's actually they're a duo together. But where the hell did they get a name like this from?
Then, you want to know what the name means? Just straight up, the Harpoonist is slang for someone that plays the harp. Harp is slang for harmonica.
Oh.
And axe, murder, axe. People call the guitar the axe.
Oh my God! So, right over my head, completely over my head. That makes absolute sense.
But it makes absolute sense, right? Yeah, it's completely simple.
But
nobody gets it. Don't feel bad about it. Nobody gets it.
No, because I'm thinking, what are these guys, like superheroes or something like that? Or I don't know. Your latest album, what's it called?
Latest album, well, we've got one coming out in the fall, but the newest one is called Apocalyptic, and we've got a remix of that record in the fall coming out called Post-Apocalyptic.
Wow. How do you think this album represents you guys right now at this point in your careers?
I think how does it represent us? I mean, there's a lot of careful what you create, I mean, there's a lot of speak of the, dying days and end of the world stuff. And then you go out on tour and your shows get canceled from weather. Flights get canceled from weather patterns. You do a festival, you don't get paid by a promoter because they disappear. So I think sometimes people can end up falling very much. You look historically, they can fall into the art that they create. So I'd say accurately we're living, quite honestly, in the landscape of which we have created and which is around. 'Cause I'm hard on things. You can hear me. I said hard on things.
What's the show going to be like when you guys are performing at Young Dundas Square? Are you going to be hearing music from the past album and the upcoming?
Yeah, we got music. We're going to do some stuff from the upcoming, which we'll do sort of, I guess more like reinterpretations of older songs through voices like, vocoders, which you'd hear more traditionally in, electronic early 80s and 70s music, and a lot of stuff from our last three records. And just some interesting, more dubbed out stuff than you hear on the record. That's one thing you'll notice. Way more of a Jamaican production vibe in our live show than that you ever hear on record.
Man, I can't wait to hear you guys. Because like I said, just hearing the style of music. Because I was watching, what's the video where you guys are boxing?
Yeah, roll with the punches.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I kept thinking to myself was, man, you guys are different. You're definitely different. And the fact that you guys are Canadian even makes it better because it makes people turn around and going, man, if they've got these guys going on, what else is going on in this country? So I cannot wait to hear you guys live. Social media wise, where do you go to follow you guys when you're traveling around the world?
Harpax on Instagram, Harpax on Twitter as well. And those are the best, on Facebook. You find a bunch of stuff and we give a bunch of stuff for free on Facebook. Just to help out other festivals and friends and stuff like that in the industry. So, Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think what other social platforms are around? I think I got it.
I think so too, man. Look, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for doing the interview with me. Can't wait to get to meet you, and more importantly, cannot wait to hear the music. And like I said, man, I can introduce you guys. So looking forward to a great show.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me this afternoon, man.
Hey, man, thanks for making the time. Take care. I'll see you on Friday.
Okay, see ya.
Bye-bye.